So basically what happened now is that we have now a completely new Boolean method of physical reality. So it models actual silver halide grains as actual physical particles. You understand? So it's not like it's not using noise. No, it's actually modeling the grain, which is why I kind of called it secretly a 3D grain, right? Because a silver halide is not two-dimensional flat; it has its shape, right? It's a three-dimensional shape, and it is also incredibly exposure dependent, which is super important part of that kind of problem we had with film scans, that they would look completely different in shadow and completely different in highlight. Okay. Also, it has an incredibly good physical accuracy. That means the grain size you are still using the real film. Like basically we need a film source. That's the starting point. But we are not starting just with the mid-gray. I can maybe in the future share with you those test images that we have used to sample the textures that are used in GrainLab, for example. So we are using actual, film that's underexposed, overexposed. So we are using the real film results, right? It behaves on that kind of spatially accurate frequency level. And basically what's also super important is that it is totally density dependent. So that is basically, so what happens is with the different exposures, that the particles don't just get smaller, they also are getting more dense. And that was a huge thing. That effect is super important for the highlight control. And then when you combine that with the JPlog2, you get an incredible good results. That's basically really where we're at, right? And what's really important is this as well, is again, this is a completely new method. It's not layered on top. It doesn't live on top of it. It actually absorbs the light. So it's using the process of multiplication, and it's not an additive process, right? So it's not like something you put on top. It's super, super important, right? It's using Monte Carlo simulation, which means that because of that, it's frequency dependent. This is something that comes from, CGI, but it's a model of rendering that is totally resolution dependent. And if you zoom into it, really, really high, you'll be able to see singular grain texture, which was not possible in the past. However, it's super computationally intensive, and that's why when you kind of don't have like a beefy machine and you switch GrainLab into 4K, you start stuttering.